I'm in France this week, and I have to be honest, I have a bit of a head cold, but that's not the only thing that's bothering me. I have to say, France is beautiful, yes, but after living in Italy for 20 years, France is a bit like biting into a beautiful looking croissant, a croissant, only to find out it's filled with nothing but air. But I want to share with you some things I've been noticing driving around the countryside over these last few days, especially when compared with Italy. So if you're someone who dreams of traveling around Europe, or if you've already been to France and thought, wait, is this just me? Then this video's for you. Oh, and later I'll share with you that time I asked a local for a restaurant recommendation. You won't believe where she sent me. I'll get to that when I get through this crusty baguette of a video. Stick with me. Why France feels a bit off. Let's start with the food. Everyone hypes up French cuisine like it's some sort of sacred institution, but let's be honest. Because after 3 nights traveling around here in France, we've eaten Vietnamese once and Italian twice. It wasn't a decision driven by curiosity, but by desperation. Either in the town we visited, the restaurants are closed on that particular Monday or Sunday night, and those were the only things that were open, bad Italian food joints or bad Asian food joints. Or good French restaurants have odd business hours. So either French cuisine isn't living up to its own reputation, or we're all being scammed by some buttery PR. And don't get me started on bread. Yes, the French baguette is iconic, but if I see one more crusty loaf of bread disguising itself as a proper meal, I'm gonna defect to tortillas forever. So please, France, carbs are not a personality. And then let's talk about breakfast. But when you walk into a breakfast buffet or you're staying at a beautiful Airbnb out in the countryside, there are some great places all over France, don't get me wrong. But when you walk in there and you see nothing but beige, bread, stale-looking cornflakes, croissants. Yes, they're good, but after one day of croissants, a second day of croissants, all that fat and butter and filled with air, basta. And then you see the coffee machine. It looks like a vending machine mated with a hospital IV drip. Labeled KREA, often KREA, it's a brand. So I know when I walk into a breakfast buffet and over there in the corner I see a KREA coffee machine, I've made some bad life decisions. Nothing says bonjour like freeze-dried milk and coffee-flavored water. I swear, one morning at the KREA coffee machine pushing the buttons, it hissed at me like it knew I was cheating on my Italian espresso. The timing problem. Let's talk restaurant hours, because you'd think in the land of fine French dining, restaurants would be open at civilized times. But most places close at 9 p.m. sharp. So if you show up at 9:01 asking for a table, a table, well, they'll look at you as if you're from Mars. They'll say, "C'est fermé, désolé," like you just ordered faux gras from a monastery. So if it's after sundown, well, plan on looking for something else. Your French experience becomes which gas station sells pre-packaged sandwiches. And Sundays, forget about it. You think Italy is calm on Sunday? Well, France is absolute comatose. So plan ahead, book restaurants in advance, search on Google Maps, know the place where you're going to be eating. Otherwise, you're gonna end up like some lost backpacker with crushed dreams, eating peanuts in his car. City centers versus Italy. It's sad sometimes. I go through little towns and villages and they feel like ghost towns. There's not much there. Maybe a tobacco PMU type tobacco coffee shop place selling bad French coffee. The only thing you can get to eat, maybe a bakery, again the baguette with slices of cheese and ham on it, and an orangina, orange soda with sugar. And again, if you ask for coffee from the bakery, well, they're gonna look over and push the buttons on their push button machine. Italian towns feel like movie sets. French towns, well, let's just say they're still in rehearsal. Let's be real, here's the thing. Why am I here if I spent half of this video dragging the baguette around? Trash talking France. You know, this part of France and all of France have places that are stunning. Rolling hills, vineyards, rivers, the high mountain peaks, stone villages tucked into the landscape like they've always been there. Every morning this week, I woke up early. Not because I had to, but because I wanted to. Laced up my shoes, walked out the door at 7:30. Not 7:32 or 7:35, 7:30 sharp. Met my friend Daniel, and we ran off into the silence, into the mist, just us, chatting a little bit, quiet in our thoughts, maybe the occasional cow giving us the side-eyed glance. Stunning scenery, me taking photos, us taking selfies, and just soaking it all in. That kind of magic, you don't find it on a jam-packed tour of Paris. And it reminded me, I'm not anti-France, I'm just pro-reality. I love travel, but I love it more when it's honest. Instead of looking for the picture-perfect Instagram destination, instead you're noting those places that are actually real and raw, and you're thinking, what makes this place worth remembering? It's not the 5-star breakfast, unless you count the KREA coffee machine with that mystery milk. It's those moments, the kind you don't get when you're just checking boxes. But most tourists, they fly in, go see the Eiffel Tower, eat a croque monsieur, maybe get scammed by a taxi, check off a few other tourist places, fly out, say, did France. So slow it down a notch. Go walk up the hillsides at early morning at sunrise, maybe lace up your shoes, go for a run, follow me on Strava if you do. Wander through the markets, check yourself into that funky Airbnb farmhouse stay out in the countryside that doesn't have a front desk. Doing it this way feels more like an experience, a life experience, than it feels like a photograph you just take in a memory outside a tourist destination. Traveling shouldn't feel like a sponsored post, instead like a diary entry that you're not embarrassed to reread. So even through fighting those restaurants that close at 9 p.m. and sometimes not getting the best meal, going for something not ideal, drinking bad coffee, well, this morning I stood on the edge of a field in the early morning hours, looked off in the distance, and I said to myself, I'm lucky to be here. Oh, and do you remember that local recommendation I mentioned at the beginning of this video that I said I'd get to? Well, I go to this beautiful B&B, check in, I'm out in the countryside, I'm tired from a long day of traveling, I put my bags down, and I say to the receptionist, do you know a place where I can eat? And she looks at me all excited, she said, yeah, okay, there's some places you can drive to about 30 minutes away, but there's one place that's nearby that should still be open. And she said, just head down the road, a 2-minute walk to the McDo. And I'm wise enough to know the McDo is what they call McDonald's in France. Oh, to think that's what they recommend, and that's what she was so excited about. You know, when they're recommending the McDo as the local specialty, that's why the baguette is working overtime. Drop down in the comments. Do you have any French horror travel experiences? Maybe you've seen the KREA coffee machine and you have your own trauma? Let me know. Also, while you're down there, hit the subscribe button. That way you make sure you're not going to miss out on any of the upcoming videos, and you're helping me grow the channel. Thank you. Also, hit the like button as well while you're down there. So yeah, France might not always hit the mark, but that's the beauty of travel. It's not all croissants and colosseums. It's about finding what actually speaks to you. If you want to visit Italy and find those places that are off the beaten path, where you wake up hearing nothing but bird songs instead of bus tours, where the locals actually go, watch this video next. I take you to 3 different places I've been to recently that 90% of the tourists completely miss. Check it out there. Now, where is this KREA coffee machine?